there in Twitch land. It is Doc, aka Gamer Seuss, and we're here with another special presentation from Game Time Presents. This time, Game Time presents 10 oft-forgotten action cartoons of the 80s. The 80s was a era of action, and the cartoons were full of lots of great offerings. These are 10 of them that were really popular during the 80s, but they faded to obscurity mostly now. A lot of today's kids have not heard of them, and you can find episodes on like YouTube to watch these cartoons, and these are just 10 of my favorites and a little bit of background information on each one, and we're going to be counting them down here on the Gamer Seuss Twitch channel. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my screen so you can see me. This is one of those where you actually get to see me today. And then let me go ahead and do a sound check. Make sure you can hear me well. Got to refresh the screen to get to the sound. All right. And it's check 1 2, check 1 2. And it's check 1 2, check 1 2. And it's check 1 2, check 1 2. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. Check 1 2, check there we go. Check 1 2. Check 1 2, check there we go. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. All right. Dismiss that. All right. And we're going to go ahead and get started now. So let's get to our screen and get to my notes here as we start with number 10 on our list, which is Mr. T Adventures. Let's see. Mr. T Adventures aired on NBC on Saturday mornings from 1983 to 1985, featuring the popular action actor Mr. T from like the A-Team and Rocky. A total of 30 episodes were produced during all 3 seasons. Season 1 had 13 episodes, Season 2 had 11 episodes, and then the final Season 3 culminated with a run of only 6 episodes. It was produced by Ruby Spears Enterprises. Credits include the animation series for that production company. They did Fang Face, Plastic Man, Comedy Adventure Show, Thundar the Barbarian, Rubik the Amazing Cube, other shows of the night. The 1983 version of Alvin and the Chipmunks, Sectars, Centurions, and the 1988 Superman series, the Police Academy animated series, and the American version of Mega Man cartoon series. The cartoon stars Mr. T as a coach to a gymnastics team with a specific emphasis on members Jeff, Woody, Robin, and Kimmy, or Kim, I guess, traveling the world while becoming involved in and solving various mysteries. So it's very much a mystery of the week kind of cartoon. Think Scooby-Doo and Mysteries Inc. At the beginning of each episode, a live-action introduction featuring Mr. T himself is shown to explain what's going on at the end of each episode, Mr. T narrates a moral lesson for the audience. And of course, special thanks to my research on all of these cartoons and stuff from the internet and Wikipedia and things like that to get a lot of the specifics, like dates and everything. And of course, we all know Wikipedia can be wrong, but there's limited other resources for exact numbers out there. So this is what we've got. And let's see here. Oh, wrong one. There we go. And as you can see, picture of the Mr. T from the cartoon. Now, moving on to number 9 in our countdown. Let's see here. We have Cops, COPS, not to be confused with the primetime drama Cops, which was actually follows real life cops doing like drug busts and stuff in LA and things. This is actually stands for Central Organization of Police Specialists, and it's a 1988 animated television series released by DIC Animation City. You know, DIC did a lot of those Saturday morning cartoon stuff. The series focused on a team of highly trained police officers tasked with protecting the fictional Empire City from a group of gangsters and by the big boss who led the gangsters. The show only had one season, but it was in syndication, so on several different networks, but it contained 65 episodes, and that spanned just from the short period of time of September to December in 1988, and it was based on the toys Cops and Crooks as acronyms, produced by Hasbro, and it was in reruns in the 90s under the name Cyber Cops on CBS. Let's see. Let's take a look here and give you a picture of the cops before we move on to the next one. All right. And that was what the cops teams look like. All right. And number 8 on our list, and this was a particular favorite of mine. I actually really liked this, even though it has faded to obscurity. Although there was a failed attempt at a live action movie for it, and there has been talk off and on of bringing it back. Nothing's really come of it. And this is Jim and the Holograms. It was a show that ran from 1985 to 1988. The series is about record company owner Jerica Benton, her singer alter ego Jim, and the adventures of her band Jim and the Holograms. There were 3 seasons of the show. Season 1 ran 26 episodes. Season 2 had 27 episodes, and it finished on a season 3 with only 12 episodes. Episodes of the series frequently revolved around Jerica's efforts to keep her 2 identities separate, like classic superhero kind of stuff, and also to protect Synergy, the AI computer, from those who might exploit the holographic technology. And she wanted to support the 12 foster children known as the Starlight Girls, who live with her and Jim and the Holograms. And there was an evil team, too, of rockers known as the Misfits, who frequently attempted to sabotage Jim and the Holograms and their endeavors, often nearly resulting in physical harm to members of the group, or like the Starlight Kids and things. So that was the danger of this show. But Jim and the Holograms, as you can see there, let's move that picture a little bit. It's on my notes file, and there we go. And that was the Holograms. And like I said, it was a particular favorite of mine. I really liked it. It was one of the early evidence of like girl power cartoons, action cartoons that had female leads in it. Think She-Ra was also from the same era, but not on this list because it's a little bit more known than the ones I'm listing today. And okay, continuing on our countdown, if I can get this picture off. We have number 7, which is one of the video game adaptations of the era, Pole Position. Pole Position is an animated action and science fiction series produced by DIC again, and the MK Company. And the series aired for one season in 1984 and appeared in reruns for a few years after. The series is loosely based on the arcade racing video game series Pole Position by Namco, though the name of the television series and the fact it's based on cars and stuff is about all they had in common. There wasn't really much direct correlation between the two. Some of the cars featured in the game showed up in the series, and that was about it. The series had only one season, like I said, of 13 episodes. And wasn't a lot of details on that one, but it was another one of those where they end up solving mysteries as they're going about their other activities in the Pole Position universe. A lot of these action series devolved into that kind of thing. The whatever their normal job was, they also ended up being detectives and solving mysteries, and that was the Pole Position Gang. And like I said, that was the most recent one. That was number 7? No, number 8. Okay, let's move on to... No, that was number 7. Number 8 was Jim and the Holograms, and okay, 9 was Cops. Just wanted to make sure didn't lose her. So moving on to number 6, this was a one that you saw in my 80s recap of most watched ones of the era. Even though, you know, it's kind of faded to obscurity nowadays. And that was MASK, or basically it's an acronym that stood for Mobile Armored Strike Command, with command spelled with a K. I have something to drink here. And it's another one of those produced by DIC and the ICC Production Ltd. Series was based on the action figures of the same name produced by Kenner Products. Mask is a special task force led by Matt Tracker, who operated transforming armored vehicles in their ongoing battle against the terrorist organization Venom. And Venom is also an acronym. It stands for Vicious Evil Network of Mayhem, with a emphasis on superpowered helmets, colloquially called masks, worn by characters of both factions. The series had 2 seasons, and season 1 had 65 episodes, but there was only 75 episodes total in the series, so season 2 only had 10 episodes, and it actually concluded on a cliffhanger, which happened to also be the name of the final episode, Cliffhanger. So that's a little bit of trivia there as well. And there you go. You see the Masks team, all the characters. And it says all the characters on the top of that picture, but they're not all there. Like I said, that was number 6. And number 5, we go back to one that's really obscure. You don't hear a lot about it at all. And I've looked at a lot of these, like, remember the cartoons from the 80s and countdowns and things from other YouTube producers doing the same kind of thing. And actually, this is the one that got me thinking of this as one to do. For number 5, we got Jace and the Wheeled Warriors, which is a transplant. Aired first. It was made by Japanese, but it was aired first in France and parts of Europe. First, Jace and the Wheeled Warriors is an animated show which was first broadcast on TF1 on which is like Television France 1, I believe, September 9th, 1985. Don't quote me on that. And it was in a part of the block, Salut les Oftis Loops. And I probably butchered that, but it's obviously a French name. And eventually, on September 16th of the same year, in the United States, in syndication. Now, this was a action show featuring 2 dueling forces. The heroes are humans called the Lightning League, with who drive white and silver vehicles with assorted weapons, led by a teenager named Jace, and the French spelling is Jayce, but here in America it was Jace. And the villains are organic plant-based creatures called the Monster Minds, who travel via large green organic vines, which can grow in and across interstellar space and sprout seeds that grow rapidly into further monster minds. They're led by the very first of the monster minds, Sawboss. And the beginning of the show starts with a little mechanical knight running from Sawboss, and it keeps swapping back and forth between that and Jason. And it is like a little girl, I think she's his cousin, and his mystic advisor, as they're working on their vehicles and waiting for his father to return. His father's researching a plant that will end hunger throughout the galaxy, but radiation mutates the plant into the monster minds. So he's basically the one that lets the monster minds loose on the galaxy, and that's why he sends his little robot knight companion, which is kind of the comic relief. I often think of him as the precursor to characters like Alpha 5 in the Power Rangers. He's even got a similar kind of voice to Alpha 5, very squeaky and obsequious. But he comes looking for Jace and brings Jace the half of a root that's needed to stop the monster minds, and so then the goal of the show is to find his father and get the other half of the root that can combine in order to defeat them. And his mystical advisor gives him the ring of the Lightning League, because there used to be a group of adventurers that fought evil throughout the galaxy called the Lightning League, and it was time for them to come again, and Jace would be the new leader of the Lightning League, and he uses the power of the ring and their vehicles to fight the monster minds. And the monster minds also could transform into plant-based attack vehicles, similar to what the Lightning League used, but different. They would have monstrous weapons like a ball and chain made out of a plant, or a buzzsaw attachment, or a big almost like what was it? I want to think backhoe or whatever, farming equipment to a digging machine, but it's more like a Venus flytrap type of scoop, and they would attack and fight each other with their vehicles as the monster minds actually physically transformed into their vehicles. They didn't ride their vehicles, they were their vehicles. So they'd like grow into their things. So that was a big part of it, and it was a big action one, and every episode was a battle between the two factions. And like I said, this is the one that inspired me to do this particular video, and it comes in at number 5, which is a pretty respectable position in a 10 list, considering how many action shows were of the era and how many I left off the list. Now, coming in at number 4 was a Marvel offering called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, also one of the ones that I listed in my shows of the 80s, most watched. And it ran from 1981 to 1983. American superhero fiction animated television series produced by Marvel Production, considered to be a crossover series connected to the 1981 Spider-Man series. The show stars already established Marvel Comics characters Spider-Man and Iceman, along with a new original character, Firestar, that was later added into the comic books as a X-Man, alongside Bobby Drake or Iceman. She wasn't part of the team for very long, though. as the trio called the Spider Friends, they would fight against various villains from the Marvel Universe, mostly villains from the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery, but not all. They also fought some of the villains from other Rogues Galleries, and of course the main crossover villains that Spider-Man fought, because Spider-Man fought everybody. He fought Magneto and Doctor Doom was the Fantastic Four's arch nemesis, while Magneto was really the X-Men's arch nemesis. But Spider-Man and his Spider Friends, or his amazing friends, would fight all of the different villains. There were actually 3 seasons of the show. The first season was 13 episodes long, and the second season actually had only 3 episodes, while the final season wound it down with a final 8 episodes before it ended. And it was fairly well watched in its time, but has faded to obscurity. I know that it is now available to watch on Disney Plus, so it's one that you would want to check out. It's personally my favorite Spider-Man adaptation series of all. So Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and they had right after one of their first things, somebody converts their dorm room, because they all go to college together, so it's college years. Converts their room and gives them a bunch of hidden electronics to help them in their crime fighting. So they, when Aunt May doesn't look into their room, because they're sharing a room, but they're living with, and Aunt May comes by, the computers would pop out and stuff, and she wouldn't see all of this crime fighting equipment. Iceman would cover himself with ice and break and become the classic Iceman, with where his body looked like it was made of ice, and then he would slide around in his ice slides. Firestar could fly, and she'd go like the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four, because she could fly and do some manipulation of heat. Very similar power set, actually, to the Human Torch. And, of course, everybody knows Spider-Man's power set. And it was a lot of fun, and it was one of the early Marvel offerings from the 80s. Like I said, a spin-off of the 81 Spider-Man, and really a class act, in my opinion. Now, should have done this in 2 documents, that way I could organize a little bit better. Now we're up to number 3 in the countdown, so we're almost done. And this one was a movie adaptation, The Real Ghostbusters, another one of them that I featured in my most watched of the 80s, but has fallen through obscurity since. Although there's a reboot of it coming back. They're bringing back the Real Ghostbusters, in new animated series to go along with the new movies of the Ghostbusters, the continuations. The Real Ghostbusters is an American supernatural fiction animated television action series, spinoff of the and kind of a sequel to the 1984 comedy The Ghostbusters, starring Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, and Bill Murray, with Annie Potts and Sigourney Weaver, and a young can't think of the little guy's name right now, but his character's name was Seymour. Anyway, the series ran on ABC between September 88 and October of 91, so it had quite a run. Series continues the adventures of the paranormal investigators, Peter Venkman, Egon Spengler, Ray Stans, and Winston Zeddemore. Their secretary, Janine Melnitz, and their mascot, Ghost Slimer. Now, this series, I'm not going to detail exactly all the different breakdowns of the episode count for each season. There was actually 7 seasons containing a total of 40 episodes, plus a set of 33 shorts segments that were produced as 13 additional episodes and as a spin-off called Slimer between season 4 and 5 that aired. And that was the real Ghostbusters. Let me move that a little bit. You can't quite see that here. Pop it back down. Yeah, the real Ghostbusters by that's number 3. We're here at the maid of honor or the runner-up for our 10 count. And before we do the runner-up, let me remind everybody that, as you can see on the top of my screen, my station is dedicated to Extra Life, part of the Children's Miracle Network. So part of any money I make from my station through bits, through subscriptions, through any monetization through YouTube or anything, goes to Extra Life. Children's Miracle Network, hospitals around the country help kids with long-term conditions. They're often hospital-bound, can't see their families, especially during COVID. This was a really big worry. It helps with research, gets them things like puzzles and games so they can feel more like normal kids, video game systems and things like that, so that they can be a little bit more like their friends. It helps them with things like the Make-A-Wish Foundation, helps with providing equipment and research and stuff to possibly, if they can, transfer them from being hospital-bound to being moved to their homes so they can live close to their loved ones and not be stuck in like extended care facilities and such. So by supporting my channel, you're supporting Extra Life, and you can see the link to my Extra Life on my main Twitch channel, and I'll also make sure that it's in the comments of my YouTube when I transfer this over to YouTube later. Or you can support it by subscribing to me, by following, by liking, by sharing, getting the word out about Extra Life, and about my channel. I mean, I'm just here to do this to have fun, but let's help a good cause while we're at it. Now, back to the list. Let's see. There we go. And at number 2, we have Thundar the Barbarian, another one from my 80s list. This typically aired on Sunday mornings in a block of cartoons before the big martial arts theater or Elvira, Mistress of the Dark came on. It's an American post-apocalyptic animated series created by Steven Gerber and produced by, again, the Ruby Spears production company, like we talked about before. The series ran for 2 seasons on ABC from October 1980 to October 1981. So yeah, about a little over a year. And because it started around the 4th of October in 80, but ended on the last day of October in 81. And rerun on NBC in 83 as well. and you can see it in like on Boomerang and some of the other cartoon repeat channels. Thundar the Barbarian is set in a future the year circa 3994, post-apocalyptic wasteland of Earth divided into kingdoms and territories, and the majority of which are ruled by wizards, and whose ruins typically feature recognizable geographical features from the United States, although there are some that show up from other countries in some episodes. The majority, though, come from like New York and Boston and places like that. The Shattered Moon and ruins of the former human civilization were caused by the passing of a comet between Earth and the Moon in 1994, which, from scenes shown in the opening sequence, caused radical changes in the Earth's climate and geography. However, by the time period in which the series is set, the Earth and Moon seem to have settled into a new physical balance. Earth is reborn with a world of savagery, super science, and sorcery, far more chaotic than Old Earth, which is the colloquial show's name for the pre-apocalyptic world. So one of the side effects is magic comes into the world with the calamity. The seasons consisted of 21 episodes, 13 in season 1, and 8 more to finish out the second shorter season. And let's get the picture up for that. And Thundar had 2 companions that would go along with him. It would be Thundar, the barbarian, and then Ariel and Ukla, the muck, who is one of the like mutant kind of creatures of the apocalyptic wasteland, kind of like a mutant anthropomorphic leonine man, but he's kind of also maybe like sentient robotic in some ways, because his face was very robotic looking, looked like angles like it was made out of metal, or that he was wearing a metal mask that went flush with his mane, one or the other, because his body was very sentient animal, not like a robot walking around. And Thundar used a magic item called the Sun Sword, which was basically a golden hilt that he dipped in a pool of like light energy, and it lit it into basically a bolt of lightning blade that he would use to fight. And Ariel would use her magic to support the 2 warrior combatants as they would fight across the apocalyptic landscape against things like giant mutated insects, roving bands of bandits, and other mutated animals, things of that nature, through the Sunday morning cartoon landscape. And now we're coming to our number 1 in the list. And before I get to the number 1 in the list, I do want to mention some honorable mentions. I'm not going to actually go into details about them. There was just so many action cartoons in the 80s. You had Voltron, Dungeons and Dragons, She-Ra, He-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Transformers, more cutesy kind of action, kind of more fun things like Heathcliff or Inspector Gadget. You had fun other adaptations like Beetlejuice. You had one of the early anime imports, the Third Robotech Wars that came over. You had the New Adventures of Superman. There was the Super Friends, DuckTales. There's just so many that, like I said, it's too many to go into details of, but they're honorable mentions. There was even a Incredible Hulk animated series in the 80s. Now, back to our number one, and this one is probably by far the most missed of all of these, the most popular, made by the same company that made Thundercats, one of the most popular of all 80s cartoons. It's had several reboots. They're working on a live action one now, but this one is sorely missed. And there's talk about a reboot of this or a live action of this, but there's not a lot of information on it. And we're talking, of course, the Silverhawks. They use the same basic formula as the Thundercats. You know, a team of adventurers with special powers through space. Although these ones did their work in space, and they fought an evil villain called Moonstar, kind of their transformative version of Mum-Ra from the Thundercats, and it was a group of 5, and they would go through their adventures. The leader would use his pet falcon to explore, and that would be the basis of the episode. There was the brother and sister twins, and each one is named after a different metal. The Copper Kid was the little kid who was from a different planet than Earth, and he mostly he could talk, but he would intersperse his talks with like whistles and squeaks. Their pilot of their ship was the guy with the cowboy hat. And let me close the picture off so I can go to the website to refer to some of my notes without you guys seeing all the notes on your screen. Yeah, is an American superhero animated television series developed by Rankin Bass Productions, which also did things like the animated Lord of the Rings movies, and also a lot of the animated Christmas movies like The Year Without a Santa Claus and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Some of those. Rankin and Bass was famous for that. But I think, like I said, the early Saturday morning cartoon they were most known for was the Thundercats. Series is set in the 29th century in the fictional Limbo Galaxy. Bionic space enforcers called a space enforcer called Commander Stargazer was their advisor, and he recruits the Silverhawks to his heroes, who are partly pedal, partly real. And they fight the evil Moonstar, who's escaped from the alien universe. He's a crime boss who transforms into an enormous armor-plated creature, and it has the help of the Limbo Moonstar. That's what he's called, Monstar, and uses the Moonstar. Joining Monstar is a menagerie of villains with different intergalactic mob pieces, including Yes Man, who's kind of like a sentient snake man. Think like a Naga from Dungeons and Dragons. Buzzsaw, Mumbo Jumbo, Windhammer, Molecular, Poker Face, Hardware, and Musical Madness of Melodia. Now, the leader of the Silverhawks is Quicksilver. He leads them with his metallic bird, Tallyhawk. And he would call him as Tallyhawk. And then the twins, Emily and Will Hart, became Steel Heart and Steel Wheel, so they were based on steel. The technician and strongman was Still Will. Then Country Sinking Bluegrass piloted the team's ship, and the like I said, the Copper Kid, is from the planet of Mimes, and he was just often referred to as Kid for short. Mathematical genius who spoke with whistles and computerized tones. Their biotic bodies are covered in full body, close fit metal armor that it only exposes their face and an arm. The armor is equipped with retractable protective masks, retractable underarm wings, except Bluegrass, who just used a ship, and thrusters on their heels, and they had laser weapons that would pop out of their shoulders. It was really fun show. It was in syndication with only the one season of 65 episodes. Each ran about 23 minutes long, but it was a truly must-see for how short it lasted. It didn't have the wild success that the Thundercats did, but for especially a niche group of us in the 80s, for sure, we've tuned in, and it was probably one of my favorites of these oft-forgotten cartoon series. So that was my list. I don't know if we've had anybody pop into chat. It doesn't look like it. But anyway, thank you for watching and joining me again for this countdown. Most of you will probably see this on the YouTube or watch it in the reruns on my Twitch channel, if you watch it at all. And not everybody watches it. That's fine. If there's anything you would like to see from me, hear about, you want to hear some of the shows, do a countdown of the 90s or the 2000s. I want to hear a deeper dive into some of these shows, or other nerdy subjects, as I speak on all kinds of nerdy subjects. As you see on my channel, I talk about karaoke. I play games like a post-apocalyptic game called 7 Days to Die, where you're killing zombies and you have a horde night. Technically every 7 days, although I set the game settings every 10 days to give myself a little bit more leeway, because I'm a specialist at dying. I'm not the best at the game. You more watch the game to watch me die than to see me succeed, although hopefully some of you are rooting for me. I also will play other MMOs as they come out. I will be streaming sometime on the 14th of October as the 1.0 release of PAX Die is coming out for early founders such as myself. It'll be available to start playing 2 days early. with the new 1.0 release. And they're going to continue development of the game. The game is by no means finished. It's just out of early access and going into full release. So it's going to start their subscription service and things like that. And I'll be talking about that game and playing it on my channel. Again, support Extra Life, part of the Children's Miracle Network. And you can do that in two ways. You can either go to my Discord channel and either in the chat type exclamation Extra Life, or you can and that's at the bot is in the channel, or you can look at my links on the channel and there's a link to my Extra Life thing, or you can spin bits on the channel, you can subscribe, you can share, follow, and like the channel, because that gets the word out. More people in the channel increases the overall monetization. Watch the commercials that roll when I'm doing these broadcasts, because if you watch and link through to the commercials, I will sometimes get a little bit from that as well, because that's what pays for a lot of things. Same thing with watching the commercials on the YouTube. If I transfer it over to YouTube, I'm not currently monetized on YouTube, but hopefully I'll get enough views and stuff to get to that point, because I do want to do all I can for Extra Life. I'm personally disabled, in a wheelchair, don't really make money on my channel. The main thing my money goes to is, like I said, Extra Life, and to support and upkeep my equipment and pay for like software registrations and stuff. And I actually pay more out of my pocket than I actually get. More of the money goes to Extra Life. In the past, when I have gotten a payout, I've given half of everything I got paid out to Extra Life, and payouts have to be a minimum of $100 to even get a payout. I'm a small channel. Don't anticipate getting really large, although with your help I might. Look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Thank you for watching. In the immortal words of Stan Lee, as I like to close my show, Excelsior. Thank you for watching. This has been the Gamer Seuss channel on Twitch. Find me on Twitch and YouTube. I do not use most other social media accounts. I don't use Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. But you can, like I said, find me on Twitch. I'm also on Facebook, but not super active outside of my karaoke group. But, you know, watch my videos. Have fun.